Nick.
Phil, long time no see.
Not long enough.
Nothing makes me happier to know that you're now like 1,500 miles away.
And soon to be next to you tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, yes.
Tomorrow night, yes. Yeah, I probably
Mm,
won't. You get in late though, don't you? No, you get in 8.
8, 9 o'clock, but
That's not terrible.
we have plans, okay?
We? No, you.
Stephanie and I.
Yeah, what are you doing?
It's tradition that whenever I get off a plane anywhere that
Yeah,
has
In and Out.
In-N-Out Burger,
In and Out Burger. I know where
I
it
go
is.
I go directly to In-N-Out Burger. I do not pass go. I do not collect
It's
$200.
tradition. It's a tradition. You have a
Yeah,
burger.
it's
There
been
you
a
go.
while. It's been a
Good.
while.
All right.
Seth is in the house. Dave,
Seth is
Lorenzo,
already in the house.
Michelle, Rob Johnson. Yeah,
Lorenzo's a new staffer for Brunswick, by the way.
is that right?
Yes, he is.
Is
Good
he
guy.
from Texas?
He's from San Antonio.
All right,
Good guy.
nice. As everybody knows, we're on a day early, which used to be our old time, but now we're on Tuesday this week, and this week only. Jim Young's
Because
in the house because we are going to be flying tomorrow.
tomorrow we go to Reno to Bowl Nationals.
I want to go to Reno. I want to go to Reno.
And
Yeah.
we have dinner plans for Thursday and Saturday for 14.
Are you guys all dressing up in like suits and stuff and ties, and you're gonna pretend to be like
Tuxedos.
the Rat Pack?
We go tuxedos. We dress with fedoras.
Yeah.
I like that word, fedora.
I don't know why you guys get so dressed up to go to the Applebee's, but hey, I mean, I'm just
It's
along
for-
for the ride.
It's fedoras. You got to wear a fedora.
Do they have a fedora shop? Because
They do. They do.
All right.
They do. You can buy one. You know,
People
you would
said,
look better
do
with a
this-
Panama hat. But go ahead.
People said we should do the show on the plane. You could buy Wi-Fi. I can almost guarantee you that one, that would be the most annoying thing for all the fellow passengers, and two, their Wi-Fi would not nearly be fast enough to stream.
We could actually get thrown off the plane for that.
Could you?
They make a special landing and drag us off by
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Where
think
would
about
you, if you were flying to Reno and they had to make an emergency landing, where would you want to get dropped off at?
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque?
Yeah.
Well, what if you make a wrong turn? You end up in Albuquerque, don't you?
Well, I want to go to Albuquerque because I like to say Albuquerque.
I've been to Albuquerque once. I don't ever want to
Me
go back.
too. Me too. I bowled there.
Yeah, I got bed bugs in Albuquerque.
Not well. You stay at these. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. 1995 a night. Hotels. What do you expect? But anyway,
I thought it was a safe place. I mean, the office
Yeah.
had like 3-inch bulletproof glass.
exactly. And the little cage to put your money in, and they pulled it back. A little drawer.
Yeah,
that's
it was
it,
so
yeah.
old that when they ran my credit card, they had to like run it on the machine that gave me the carbon copy. You remember those?
I do.
Of course you remember
Basically-
those.
They used to go like that. Then you filled it in. There was no hacking then.
No, what? Oh, yeah, there was.
Yeah,
You
there
just
was.
find that slip. You couldn't go run online and go
No.
buy
No,
you know,
no, you had to
seven-
go. Yeah, no, you're right.
700 pounds of party peanuts for somebody.
Exactly. So anyway, we got a good show today.
We had a good show. We're done. That's it.
Well, we have a good show planned for today.
Yeah, and you know what? We're not going to be discussing quite yet.
What's that?
New ball launches that just got announced from Columbia,
whatever. You know what?
Ebonite, and Hammer.
Let it go. Let it go.
No, there's a ball announcement, and we'll talk about them next week. But
Next week.
next week, when we come back, we'll have all the
Next-
information
next
for
Wednesday.
everybody.
That's right. What companies are they? Hammer,
Hammer, Columbia,
Columbia, and
Ebonite.
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 Ebonati. Okay. So today we have a couple of good topics and
Great
a new
topic.
top five. And a new top five.
That's going to be our favorite part of the show, I think. The top
I think
five.
it is. I think we have to think more harder about it and get some ideas from the tuner inners guys. I like that word, a tuner inner.
Tuner-inner.
Tuner inner. And then some top five suggestions. But today we talk about building an arsenal,
Yep.
which is always important. We get a lot of questions about that on a weekly basis. and the testing process. How do we test bowling balls? What do we do?
How do
when
we
test
build and
bowling balls?
test bowling balls? Yeah,
Yes, and I'm glad Seth is in because Seth has testing ability.
he is. He is your helper.
He is. He
He's
is.
your right hand man,
Yeah.
Lord
The number
of
the
the
number one
zings.
question. The number one question to Seth every time we test balls is, do you plan on throwing 2 balls in the same spot twice in a row, somewhere during this test?
He's trying to represent all the bowlers that bowl just like that, though.
He threw that. He comes back and goes, "I threw that one bad." Really?
Not just bad for you, just bad in
No.
general.
He does. Seth does a great job testing. He takes a lot of abuse from Jeff Hartsfield and I when he tests. Because we move him all over the lanes. So I know how to test.
He says he knows how to test. Leave him alone.
He's an excellent tester.
He's got his own process.
He threw that shot identical to the last shot.
He did not. Yeah.
He did
And your
not.
favorite Jeff Hartsfield says your favorite word again.
Again. So anyway,
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Building an arsenal. So I get this question a lot, and most of the time, the problem with building an arsenal is the person that's building the arsenal is not really thinking about putting the whole package together. They saw something new coming out. They saw another guy throw it. The worst part of building an arsenal is when they come to me and say, I saw so-and-so throwing it on TV. I want to add that to my arsenal. Well, probably try to add that part of your game that he has to your game, and then you can probably do that. But
it's all about the equipment, Phil.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get into the ins and outs of building an arsenal, and it's pretty basic. As a matter of fact, it's probably one of the easier things to do because you're building it for yourself. It's not doing guesswork. But let's move on with this. We'll talk about it. First of all, most important question is, what do you bowl on? A lot of times people want to build an arsenal and they never bowl on a sports shot. They always bowl in the same house they're bowling in, or they only bowl on house shots. And that's pretty easy. The only time it gets tricky is if you bowl on a sports shot or you travel to tournaments, where you all three, a house shot, sports shot, and you travel. Then it can get a little tricky because the diversification of the arsenal is important. And also, when you travel, how many balls can you physically take? I used to always, nationals. We go to nationals and I'll ship 2 balls, bring 3. Some people take 2 bags, but the guys that have an advantage are the guys that drive to nationals. So the guys from California, if it was in Vegas or Reno, have an advantage. They could take a truckload of bowling balls. But sometimes it's not the Indians. It's not the arrows. It's the Indian. So you have to figure out where you bowl, what you bowl on,
and what you think you might need the most.
The most, yeah. You start with the most and build around it.
Yeah, it's tricky for nationals because,
like you don't know.
I got 6 balls coming with me.
Right.
I have one of them as my urethane ball. I have one of them as my strong rolling ASIM solid, so that it's probably not going to be an all-time ball. But I'm looking for right in the middle.
Absolutely
something that is going to be smoother for this tournament. All the reports I keep hearing, the lanes are flying, they're hooking.
So, yeah, hooking. You need something smooth. You don't want anything jumping down lane.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that in the one of the slides. Talk about sports shots a little.
Okay.
Because we would consider that a sports shot.
Next slide.
Next slide, please. So what's your style? You a two-hander, you rev dominant, speed dominant, you matched. And this is another interesting thing. You have to be honest with yourself. If you're a rev dominant player, you have to really be that, not think that you get more on it than you do. If you're speed dominant, don't think you're revving it up like crazy. You're probably throwing it harder than you should. Or if you're matched. And once you figure out that style, putting together the pieces is pretty easy. There's not much more to that. You're one of those 4.
Somebody's got Your
Somebody took
Arsenal
my
down pat.
Ian's probably in Reno, looked at my bag.
Intel, sneak attack, rack attack, Intel.
That's it.
Hey,
Oh,
get
that's
out
it.
of that back
He's
room.
right. He's right. He's in there. He's in there with Bobby. Opened up the boxes I sent.
Nice snooping.
I have an
Because you
easy
guys
left
throw it
move,
the
huh?
same.
Oh my God. Somebody once told me when Ian first started bowling with us, he struggled a little bit with nationals. Why don't you work with him and get him to, a little bit? And I said, what am I gonna do? Teach him how to not average 250? The guy's great.
Is Ian in our group?
No, he quit
Oh.
bowling with us. He don't like some of the people in the group. That's what the
Nice.
word is.
Oh,
I have the names that people that he doesn't like, and I may have to leak them out later.
Nice.
So yeah,
Call him out.
I'm gonna call him out. So
what would you say you are on these styles? Are you matched
I
or
am.
are you rev
You know what?
dominant?
I tried to be matched. No, we see you laugh now. You go, ha ha ha. You rev dominant.
I'm laughing because it's still rev dominant, right?
It is rev dominant. That's the problem. I throw it too slow. So I tried to get matched, and that's how I got to be rev dominant. I was throwing it. I thought I threw it harder than I should for my rev rate. So I started slowing my ball speed down, and then it went past the match to I'm probably more rev dominant than speed. Obviously, I don't have any speed.
Mm-hmm.
The word speed and bowling does not collide in the same sentence when I talk about my game. So anyway,
you might actually be able to find some speed in Reno, not far.
Yeah, huh? No, not that kind. So anyway, let's go to the next slide. So the basics, you got a house shot. And people always say that to me all the time. Define a house shot. Well, you own a house and that's their shot. It's a house shot. Each house shot is different depending on the house. So, but interesting, most house shots, and I'm going to say nearly all house shots, if you're right-handed, you have friction to your right and you have hold to your left. How much of that is different? I think the garbage truck is here. What time is it?
Oh, beep.
They always show up at 2:10.
Is it unusual for the garbage man? He just wanted to be part of the show again. He heard us go live.
It's very unusual for them to show up at 2:10. Anyway, you'll always have hook on a house shot. I don't. Then it's not. I mean, really, most house shots they want to make them nice. You score better. You'll have hook to your right and hold to your left. Now a sport.
Oh, hopefully we didn't just lose Phil. Might have to pick up for him here. Maybe he's not on the Wi-Fi again. Well, we'll give him a second to get his connection figured out. But like he was saying, house shots are all different. You have friction to your right, opposite for lefties, and you hold to your left. Hey, you're back. You fixed your connection?
Yeah, I have to go to the Wi-Fi for some reason. The land.
Maybe the garbage man cut your.
He ran over the wire.
Your landline.
He ran over the wire.
Nice.
So your house shot, you're always going to have friction to your right and hold to your left if you're right-handed. Now, on a sports shot, because the patterns are flatter, you're probably not going to have as big of a difference between left to right as you would on a house shot. But the sports shots play front to back rather than side to side. House shots, you play side to side. Sports shots, you play front to back. Pretty simple. And because of that, you have to have a different ball type selection. So let's talk about a match player. And here's what I'm going to simply tell you. If you're a match player, your ball speed and your rev rate match up. Although even that's vague. What does that mean, matched up? But anyway, you want to select one from each category. This is for your house shot. So you want to have a low differential symmetrical ball. Sneak attack, depending on what the volume at the house is, a sneak attack, maybe the solid or the original, or a rattler. Rattler's a solid ball. So you have a choice there, and that fills one end of the Arsenal spectrum. Okay, now you want to have a medium symmetrical ball, and cryptos fit that perfectly because they have a medium intermediate and a medium differential, and that means they flare more. So they're going to read a little bit sooner than the low diff. So here's what you're a match player. You like to go pretty straight, so you throw the low differential ball, and you can stand closer to the dry, and you can use the hold, use the oil line as hold. The problem with today's bowling is they want to use the oil to get the ball down the lane, and throw it to the dry. In this case, we're talking about using the dry boards to get hook and the oil line to get hold for a match player on a house shot. And that was where the low diff balls go. If you want to move in a little bit and throw it to the dry, then you want to open that up with differential being a little higher. Okay, and then you probably need one strong differential asymmetrical ball. And in our case right now, that would be the Katana Assault. Okay, now as an option for a low intermediate diff asymmetrical ball, you have an Innovator, the Outer Limits or the Innovator Solid. And you know what? If you took one from each category, you would have a very, very, very complete house shot arsenal. There should be nothing that you could miss. Now, let's take it one step further. I want to go back one second for a second, Nick. Let's say that you're a tournament player and you bowl on house shots in different houses, okay, and you want to have a more extensive arsenal. You can take two from each category of the other categories up there and expand your arsenal. You know, a rack attack and a rattler, sneak attack and a rattler, a crypto solid and a crypto boom, an outer limits and an innovator, outer limits solid innovator, or an innovator solid and outer limits, or the outer limits or the innovator pearl. But you can expand your arsenal for if you're a traveler or a tournament player. The next one.
And you'll generally know when you go from house to house, like, you know, if
Absolutely.
it's a house shot and you know the house, you know your equipment,
Right.
you know what angles typically strike there more for you.
Yeah.
You know, then you can get away with, you know, using certain balls. And you may start using only one or two balls per night. You may only need the rattler for the night. You may only need a crypto boom for the night.
Correct.
So
now the only time you really have to look at an arsenal in a house shot is
Uh-oh. That's the sound that we lost Phil again. Yep. Yeah, for instance, like I bowl at the House of Pain. It's wood. You know, I know that all the scoring is going to be from outside angles. You know, if I try to move in and hook it, I'm probably going to have a harder time at my own house because it's wood, a lot of friction. The longer I could stay straight. So I'm going to use equipment that allows me to stay straight. Welcome back.
Welcome back. I'm sorry. I don't know why it's doing that.
Anyway, well, I know why. You moved your computer from there to Muskegon and back.
I moved it to Muskegon, so that's what happened.
You used up all the Wi-Fi internet on the.
I better open a window. I better open a window to get it to go through the window better.
Yeah. Good idea.
Let's talk about the next part. Next slide here. If you're a rev dominant player, I'd say you really get on it. You don't throw it that hard. And the key to your game is going to be having a low differential symmetrical ball in the bag. The original rack attack or a rattler, something that you know is not going to want to ricochet off the spot, because the worst thing in the world to have over and under. You want to not have over and under on a house shot. And usually you can fix that with surfs. So that's one ball you have to have in your bag. Then you need a medium differential ball. Again, if you have, for instance, the rattler as your low diff, your medium diff should be a pearl version, which would be the crypto boom. By the same token, if you have the original snack attack, if you have the original sneak attack, which is a hybrid, you want to have the solid crypto in your bag. Okay, and then go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, just snack attack's gonna be after the show. Work up a little hunger during the show, then we have a snack attack.
So then you're low intermediate diff asymmetrical, because you're rev dominant. You probably don't need anything really, really, really strong. You pick one, you know, outer limits. The Innovator Solid's a strong ball. So depending on the volume you bowl on, and then the Innovator's a pearl. So you have a good choice there. The best case scenario, you know, is you can pick one from each and make sure the surfaces match. Sand it on one, pearl on another, and then the solid for the low intermediate differential. But again, you pick one from each of those categories, you'll be in pretty good shape.
Next.
The speed dominant player, interesting guy. He's the guy that throws it too hard. And again, surface is his friend. You want to go, you probably want to have a medium differential ball as your low ball for performance wise. A crypto and crypto solid. The crypto solid is the answer there. And then a strong ball like the Katana Assault. And that would cover the two spectrums, high and low. So if you need something in the middle, again, the Innovator Solid is probably the one that's going to fit in between the two. You may not need a low differential symmetrical ball.
Yeah. You're typically going to use more asymmetrical balls in your arsenal when you're speed dominant.
Correct. So those two balls, the intermediate and the low intermediate and the higher strong intermediate, are going to be your predominant balls. If they hook too much for you, you have to move out a little bit. The crypto solid is probably going to be the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's talk about sport shot. In a sport shot situation, the key is controlling the back ends. Again, we select one from each category. You don't want to be going left to right or right to left on a sport shot if you don't have to, but you want to control the break point. And because of that, I stay away from high intermediate diff balls because the hook window is so short and so quick, and you're not going to be able to get away with hold, a little bit tug or a little swing. So you want to get something that's low differential. And again, surface is the key here. So the Sneak Attack Solid is probably an ideal ball on medium to shorter lane volumes for a sport shot. And then a low intermediate differential asymmetrical like an Innovator Solid or an Outer Limits, and play with the surface. Absolutely have to have, if you're bowling sport patterns, is a urethane ball. I put the double cross up. We all know the Purple Hammer is probably one of the best, if not the best, for that. So, those are parts you have to look at on sports shots. It's less is more. You don't want balls going sideways. We're going out to nationals. My bag has an Intel SE, a Rattler, the Sneak Attack Solid, the double cross, and my spare ball.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And I have nothing that's going to hook hard down lane.
And choosing these balls can be, if you know the pattern ahead of time. Obviously, we don't going to nationals. We have an idea of what they are like.
Right.
But if you know the pattern's 45 foot,
a
long pattern with, it's going to force you inside, you're probably not going to need a whole lot of stuff like, maybe a urethane ball can be left in the bag, or if you use it for spares, because you're not going to be able to play out.
You can't play out with it, right?
All the short pin balls are probably going to have to go away too. You're going to need stuff with more surface to break down that pattern on a longer pattern.
Right. Depending on the duration too.
Sure.
You're bowling,
So. And on the flip side, if it's a short pattern, you're not going to need those Katana Assaults, or anything that's flippy, especially at the gate. You're going to need balls that are smooth and slow.
Correct. So in conclusion, keep it simple. Make sure that the ball that you pick or the type of ball you pick matches your style. Worst case scenario is you get a ball, you drill it to hook a mile, forces you into fourth arrow, and you're not comfortable. So you have to be able to keep it simple, recognize what you're good at. Don't fall into the hype. You watch a guy throw it on TV. I want to bowl like that guy. I want to throw like you don't. Mm-hmm. And you don't bowl on what he's bowling on. PBA shot is a total different animal. You talk to guys that have bowled on tour and come home and bowl house shots. Sometimes they don't bowl good on a house shot because they don't know how to play it. So don't fall into the hype. If you see a ball on TV every week and, one guy's throwing it and the guy's got a 520 rev rate, there's a good chance you're not matching up with that guy. Choose balls that keep you in your comfort zone. If you don't like to get inside a third arrow, make sure you get balls that you can play the front part of the lane and they don't hook too soon. They get to the front part nice and easy. You can stay closer to the dry. And again, don't bite a dog because you saw it on TV. You don't throw it like them, and you don't bowl on PBA patterns.
I bowl just like Chris Barnes.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So that's all we got on building an arsenal. We have any questions?
We got a lot of questions.
All right, good. Let me get my pencil.
All right. So we're going to start from the newest, and we'll go from there. Cedric
go ahead.
wants to know what about the drilling on those balls?
Well, you know what? Drilling is what helps you carry, not hit the pocket. That's usually what I look at. If you got the right ball in your hand, it's going to get you to the pocket. The right ball with the right surface will get you to the pocket. Drill patterns are based on your release, the type of a ball motion you want, and those are in the box. So that's not the problem. You take a low differential ball and you put it with the right surface on. It's going to get you to the pocket. Then you got to figure out what motion you want from that ball. Do you want it to read the mids? Do you want it to read it further down the lane?
Yeah, got to get that ball to slow down on the right spot.
Yeah,
Has to slow down a strike, especially on a sports shot. You can get away with it on a house shot because you can still the pocket gets bigger.
Manipulate it. Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Lynn wants to know, where do the higher differential balls fit in? The symmetrical high differential.
Like the Cryptos in 05 something or other, that would be a higher differential ball. You're not going to get much higher than that because I believe 55 is where we build them the most. I think that's the highest dip that we build them at.
Is it Crypto that high?
Crypto's in the 50s. I thought it was in the 50s. 51.
Crypto Boom is lower, right?
No, they're the same. I think they are.
Well,
maybe I'm wrong.
046 then. It should be.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
You're probably thinking of a different ball. Yeah, 046.
I was thinking of the
there's the track ball is 056. The stealth.
What was the Bigfoot?
Bigfoot is 050s, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Bigfoot. So
Bigfoot. Big feet?
Big feet. If you have two of them, you have big feet.
Yeah. That one's 053.
Yeah. So I mean that would be higher,
Yeah, Lynn, it also depends on if they're pearl solid hybrid, because a ball like a track stealth or something that's dull, it's going to be a smoother motion, allowing you to break it down when you need something a little slower than like an ASIM, like a Innovator Solid. It'll be a step down from that, where you get that smoother reaction where you can slow it down and maintain the pocket without giving it up. But I find myself typically using more ASIMs when I have to hook around the pattern a little more.
Yeah.
So I want to see that change of direction a little bit harder. I need to see that. If I see it kind of never slow down, then I just don't throw it as well.
Yeah. And I am a firm believer in the symmetricals with the higher dip. That hook window gets really long. It's a more gradual transition, but they're going to read the friction a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
And that may be something I don't know if you want that or not. That depends on your style and what you're bowling on. Most times with a house shot, you can make the ball read the friction by moving to the right and to get it slow down.
Yeah, sure will. We'll see it quicker.
Let's see it quicker.
Start rolling more forward.
Right.
Mike wants to know, what are the numbers that determine the speed dominant versus rev dominant?
I don't know that. I hear it all the time. Well, you must be speed dominant. I don't know. You throw it too hard, and if you start getting into the 17, 18, 19 mile an hour range, you got to have a pretty good rev rate.
Yeah, you're generally going to be more speed dominant. If you find yourself playing further inside than everybody all the time, you're probably rev dominant.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where I am.
Yeah.
In the middle of the lane.
Mr. Coast to Coast left, you're like the John Gant without the rev rate.
I am the John Gant, period. Without the rev rate.
You're the Percy Puss-Knuckler, as Mo used to say, of the John Gant era. What a fun bowler he was to watch on the show.
He was. He really was. He was.
Any lefty that can get it and just hook the whole lane, I'm a fan.
I agree.
I'm a fan. And
so someone used to be a fan of mine. I hooked the whole lane.
Someone says that you let out the name of the brand new ball on accident, just like you did with counterattack and all that. When you said snack attack, they're thinking that's the next ball.
Oh, that's the new ball. Yeah, it comes in 2 flavors.
It comes in chocolate and vanilla. And swirl.
Hey, by the way, everybody, I just told Nick before we got on the air that I needed him to bowl with me in the Bowler's Journals doubles, and he gave me a look like he wasn't going to do it. Because Bobby Bruss, my bowling partner, is at the booth and he can't do it. So I paid for it already. I asked Nick to bowl with me, and I'm not sure he's gonna. How disappointing would that be? I told him we could almost live stream it.
Look, I only have maybe 9 good games in me when I get
We'll
there,
put 3 of them together with me. We might win some money.
and I don't want to waste them.
Oh, all
Here's the
right.
other thing: if you really wanted to bowl with me in the Bowler's Journal,
Yeah.
why my second fiddle?
I asked you if you wanted to bowl
What?
Bowler's Journal in the beginning, and you said, I don't
I said,
know. I have an
I said,
oblique.
I said no.
Yeah, but you have to now. I need you to. So that's the end of that. That's
My
how
guy
it works.
Danny. Is there a handicap division?
Yeah, there is.
Are we in it?
We would be.
Is that right?
Come on.
No, we would. No, we wouldn't.
Come on. You'll see. Come on.
All right. Finding
All right.
more questions. All
Go
right.
ahead.
So, Mike, being more specific, 260 rev rate, 17.5. That would be more speed dominant, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Mike, you probably have more success playing straighter up the boards and the track, is my
Yeah,
guess. I don't
with
see
surface.
that kind of rev rate and speed playing further left unless you just bowl on Sahara Desert.
Yeah,
But-
you probably need more surface.
Panichi says, "Good luck in the best ball, Jim. I need a partner for that if I'm going to play the next
Oh,
weekend.
here we
not
go.
this
Now
weekend,
you
but
need a
next.
partner. Hey, Jim, tell him no.
No, I need a
Just
partner to play in
like
the
you
best
just
ball.
told me. I think you just told me. No, I need to play. I can't bowl. I don't want to bowl. I need a
This is
partner.
different. This is different. This is golf. This is different. That's important.
Okay. All right. I asked.
All right. Yeah. All right. I think we're pretty well caught up. We had a question about Sarge Easter grip.
Yeah. that's your
What does
department.
Sarge Easter grip do for you, Randy? I actually have a video on that topic. Search on YouTube after we're done with this live stream. But I talk all about Sarge Easter, what it does for my hand, what it does for my rev rate, and how it made me not necessarily a better bowler, but allowed me to bowl without pain. That's the main thing. Is it doesn't really do anything for your roll too much. It doesn't do anything for your rev rate. It's mostly just being able to bowl without pain. If you have tendon problems, which, yeah, that's what I had.
How's your oblique?
It's perfect. Thank you. Thanks for asking.
Whatever.
All right. David Porter. Porter, golf. Are you bowling? Are you playing in that best ball? Let me know. Anyway, all right. So that's
All
all
right.
for building an arsenal, everybody.
I hope
we're
that
gonna
helped.
Hope that helped. If you got more questions, put them in the comments, and Phil will try his best to go back and answer. Oh, hey.
That's not good. Let's lower that one down.
Yeah. We'll answer this one real quick. Is Nick matched or rev dominant? Does he find success with high intermediate differential ASIMs on THS? I do. Balls like Katana Assault, Black Widow Hybrid 2.0. I'm more matched, I would say. My ball speed when I'm throwing it typically is around 17, rev rate around 335, if I really rev it up 340. But that's a little more matched. When I get in and hook it, I'm going to throw it a little bit softer, probably in the 16s, as you see in like my Specto videos. But if I'm using an ASIM ball, I'm typically probably on a house shot. I'm not going to be using a stronger cover like a solid, like an Innovator Solid or anything that's dull. Archetype is another one of those that's strong, intermediate. Like I think it's 021, just like the Katana 020s right there. I don't typically use it too much on house shot just because if I'm bowling on house shot, I want to stay in the same ball all 3 games if I can. I don't want to move my feet. And a ball with that kind of surface is going to force me to move. So that's all for building an arsenal, and which leads us to our perfect transition that we're going to do a weekly thing. Phil's already laughing.
I laugh. Top fives.
Top 5 things not to say after getting a free bowling ball. I mean, most people, don't ever get a free bowling ball, especially from a company. Like, you might win a giveaway or something, but getting a comped ball, like a company or a rep or someone sending you a ball for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
These are the top 5 things not to say after getting said free ball. Number 5. What? No bag?
I'm telling you. Yeah. People laugh, you might be thinking it's a joke, but it's not.
It's happened.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
hey, I got 3 balls, but where am I going to put this 4th ball? I need another bag. Can you help me
Or
out
the
with the
other way,
bag?
I got a 2-ball, a tote that I use right now. Now I have
Yeah.
3 balls. Can I get a bag?
Give one of those away. It's not my not. I don't know what you want me to tell me. I just gave you a
Yeah.
ball.
That's it.
And be sure if you put in the comments what you guys think these top 5s are going to be as we go through
Oh,
them.
yeah,
I know I'm
absolutely.
starting to see them come up.
Yeah.
Someone said, "Can I have something else? How about a shirt?" Beggars
Yeah,
can't be choosers.
exactly.
So the
Right.
number 4 on the top
Yeah.
5 things not to say after getting a free ball.
Mhm.
Is the drilling free?
You
I
mean
mean,
I
you
gotta
can
pay
work
to
that
get
out with your.
drilled?
I gotta pay to get this drilled.
I gotta
Gosh.
pay to get this drilled? Mhm. Yeah. No, it's not free.
Yeah.
Your ball was free. At that point, I'm looking to take the ball back, by the way. Just send it
Yeah.
back.
We're only at
And
number 4, and Phil's
yeah,
becoming an Indian giver already.
that's it. I don't know if you could say that, by the way. It's a-
Oh,
so,
sorry.
anyway. Yeah, you can't say that. You offended
Oh,
somebody.
that's the first time I have. This is like number 4, 500 for you.
Well,
Like, Phil, you can't say that. Why? Why not?
why not? I just did.
I just did. Yeah. Oh,
It's-
I'll use that line too. Sorry,
Uh.
I just did. Number 3.
Number
Top
3.
5 things you should not say after getting a free ball. Hey, can I get another one to try a different layout?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, along those lines, and I've had this happen to me over the years several times. You give somebody a ball and say, "Hey, listen, I want you to try this ball out. Let me know what you think of it." Trying to get some feedback. And then the guy goes, "I rolled terrible." I go, "Rolled terrible?" Well, I tried this new drilling on it, and it didn't work. So it was the drilling that rolled terrible or the ball. And at that point, the guy will say, "Well, maybe I should get another one so that I could put my regular drilling on it." And the answer would be, "How about
No.
no? You got your ball, and you'll never get another one."
Yeah. My favorite was always at the demos when they throw the ball for the first time, and demo balls don't fit properly.
Right.
And they hang up in it, or they throw it in the ditch, or they get 3 off the left. And that ball
Yep.
sucks.
The ball sucks. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Or the
All
guy
right.
I told you, I know I told that story. The guy that threw almost 17 in a row at one of the demos.
Yeah. How should I
And
drill it?
when he got done, he said, "I love this ball. I'm going to get one." I said, "Good." He said, "How should I drill it?" And then I
Yep.
said, "Let's start over. How are you?"
Rob Johnson says, in the gaming industry, we used to have a saying: you can give somebody a folded $100 bill, and they'll complain about the crease.
Yeah, he's right. He's right. All right.
Number 2 things you should never say after getting a free ball. I wonder what this will sell for on eBay. The worst possible thing you can do is put that ball for sale.
Yep. Even after you drilled it.
Even after you drill it.
drilled it. Yeah.
Yes. If I saw that, it would be the last time
Yeah.
that person ever got a free ball.
And I would have to call him out on it probably now on Facebook about how he did that. That would drive me crazy, And I have no problem if you throw the ball, you didn't like it, you gave me some feedback, and you decided to give it to a junior bowler or somebody like that. But when that ball shows up on eBay, and we always find out, trust me, we know. And then that list comes out and your name is like permanently erased.
Yeah, it's like the black book for Vegas type thing.
That's exactly right. Oh my God, yes. Yeah. There's never again.
All right. And the number 1 thing
not to say after getting a free ball is
never say this. Does this mean I'm on staff? Press the button. Press it a few times, Phil.
Ready?
N-O. No. No means no.
And to that guy, I would send him a
radical patch. Well, see,
Radical
you're just
patch.
making it worse. Now he's definitely thinking he's going to be on staff.
Absolutely. I want that guy wearing that patch to league, telling everybody he's on staff.
Oh man. Hey, well, he's going to tell you. He's not going to say he's on staff. He said, "Hey, that nice guy over there, Phil, with the headphones on, that doesn't want to be bothered, just gave me this free ball. You should go ask him for one."
That's perfect, right? Yeah.
In fact, if you do see Phil at your local center in San Antonio and he's got his earphones on, he's not listening to anything. He's not on the phone. Just go sit up
Tell
and
you
talk
what,
to him.
my buddies, and you'll meet them in New York, are very protective of me when it comes to that, especially on trips like this where, I'll
I'm
be
not talking
sitting
about
down.
Reno. I'm talking about.
I'm just talking about in general. When people come up to me, a lot of times they'll intercept it, or
Yeah.
they won't tell them who I am, even though the guy may know who I am. Because I don't want to be dealing with, can I get on staff? Can I get a free ball? Especially when I'm away with my friends or with Nick. So my friends, and then there's Nick. So
who's gonna intercept me?
Yeah, well, I'll tell everybody who you are, and I'll tell them you're giving away balls at the booth.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'll take care of that for you.
Hey, you do that enough. I'm just gonna go in there and give balls away then.
You could do it.
I'll let you deal with Bobby after. I was like, hey, Bobby, that guy took like 12 balls. And I guess we got to replace him, huh, Phil?
Yep.
Good luck putting that giveaway request in.
So anyway, again, we leave tomorrow. It'd be a lot of fun. So so Nick, what balls are you bringing? Did you have determined yet? You shipped?
Yes, it's a secret. Because I have a video coming out Thursday. It's talking just about that.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. Yeah.
Little weenie. It was a secret. I can't tell everybody that's on the podcast because you guys aren't worthy of my knowledge on this podcast. That's what you basically just said.
How about I talk about it? I'll talk about it more next week to see if it was a good pick or not.
All right. Okay, good. Nice choice.
One ball I'm bringing.
You only bringing one ball?
No, I said I'll tell you guys one ball that I am bringing.
You're bringing your purple hammer.
There you go. All right, moving on. Let's talk about something more interesting in bowling balls.
I'm getting new friends. Go ahead.
Good. I hope you find some in Reno.
I will. They're probably at the bus station.
Exactly. They'll be very receptive to whatever you have to say.
Probably right.
As long as you have, is for anybody who's been in Reno, is that McDonald's still there on Virginia Street across the street from Circus?
I thought you were going to In-N-Out Burger.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, that's where you got to go meet friends. That was always the spot.
I don't go there.
Oh, man. Yeah, besides, there you go. Perfect, Ted. That's perfect. Tell Phil to like and subscribe. Runs Nick on YouTube to find out if you want to know what I'm throwing in Reno.
Exactly.
Thank you, Ted. That's perfect. Appreciate it. Someone says the Mickey D's are gone. Dang it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We have another interesting topic that we're going to talk about, and that is how you, Phil, how Radical, how the ball testing process goes, how you develop a brand new ball from scratch, from concept
to launch.
So I actually made another one of these little dealios here.
Nick found a new toy, and this is going to be the death of us. Let me write that down.
This is the greatest thing ever. This is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, whatever. I'm getting
busy.
Should
I do it like this? Should I do it like this? We're going to do it like that.
Stop moving it.
That looks perfect. Thank you.
Perfect.
All right. So question one right off the bat. How do you decide what kind of ball to make?
You're talking about what ball to make. Kind. It's a bowling ball. We know what kind it is. What
Got
ball?
it. We're in the business of bowling balls.
We're in the bowling ball business, right? So when you look at a company like Radical, or I had with Track or Dynathane, even at Columbia, okay, you have to realize where the company fits into the marketplace. With the heritage brands like Columbia and Ebonite and Brunswick, you have to have everything for everybody. But with the brands like Track when I had it, or Dynathane or Radical, I look at as a bowler and saying, if I were going to stick with this one company, what do they have to have in order for me as a bowler to stick with one company and be loyal to that one brand? And I have to look at across the board. So what we look at when we make a bowling ball is what ball would fit in each category, performance-wise. And I'm not going to say low end and high end, because that's not. Balls don't do that. Balls perform at a certain place in the industry. So we try to look at a low intermediate diff ball, or something that's good for drier lanes, just to categorize it. Something that's good for medium lanes, something that's good for tighter lanes. And then we look at the type of players we want to cater to. And our goal is to cater to the league bowlers, because those are the guys that actually buy bowling balls. The people you see walking around with shirts on and logos on have gotten on staff. They ain't buying anything. You know, it's all free to them. So the guy I have to cater to is the person that goes out and buys bowling balls. So the one thing I do is I look at what are my categories and what am I missing and how can I improve in it? And that's usually the starting point.
And sometimes you're looking to replace a certain ball on the line.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, it's in that category.
Yeah. So,
You
like,
know,
for instance, you're replacing an Intel. Well, what can I make that's close to an Intel?
Correct. Without actually making that Intel.
Right.
For some, you know, and a lot of times there's other reasons we don't make the same ball over and over and over again. Some companies do that and they call it something else. I got no problem with it. That's your philosophy and that's fine. But, you know, in our case, we look for improving on and getting feedback from the customers about the ball. You know, that ball was really good, but I couldn't use it on a certain condition. So maybe I can expand the motion of that ball when it's more usable.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, next question.
This is brutal. The name that sounds great on Monday actually sucks on Tuesday. Happens a lot.
If it didn't already get rejected by legal on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday, legal says no. You know, it's just
or it gets approved on a Tuesday and then
Yeah.
rejected by legal on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah. And then you have to go back and start looking up, was it a ball 40 years ago with that name or 20 years ago with that name? So names are really tough. We like to have names that can have extensions, you know, like the Katana line. The original one had the Katana, it had the Katana Slash, the Katana Dragon, the Master, whatever. Do we have a Katana Dragon? I just made that up. We did.
Yeah, that's old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And now we got the
Katana Slash, Katana Dragon, Katana Legend.
Legend, right.
I just
So
made
you
that
start,
up.
you know, I made that up. You got to keep going.
Yeah, just like the ball name you came up with before the show. You're like, oh, that's a great idea. Has that been done? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
It has been
yeah,
done.
It
was
done.
very
You don't know.
successful.
So
Great
what?
idea.
Yeah, great idea. It was a good name. Good name.
It was a good name for that
So
company.
Names are tough. Names are tough. So
Or sometimes you come up with a name that has never been done. You're all about it, and then it gets to the committee, and then they're just like, I think you laid an egg with that one.
Yeah, and that's why I don't like to go to the committee. You know, the worst thing in the world is have a meeting with 10 people in a room because you get 10 different opinions.
Yeah.
So
that's why you just keep it to one-on-one.
That's it.
Yeah. It usually comes up with, hey, Nick, I need some ball names for the next ball. What do you got?
That's it. That's how it works. And then Nick will give me some names and I'll say, nah, it sucked. That's not good.
That sucked. I'm going to go with this one anyway.
Anyway, yeah. But I gave him a choice. He felt like he was included.
Yeah. I was like, hey, thanks for wasting my time.
Yeah, exactly.
Or he'll try to come out with that same name like 3 years later and think it's his own.
I snuck it by. That's right.
I was like, no. No, I'm like an elephant. I never forget.
Yeah, I see that.
All right. So
how hard is it to pick colors? You know, it was so easy.
Back in the 90s.
Back in the 90s. But it was so easy. You had, you know, you didn't have too many multicolored balls yet. And then it was only 2-color. So that was pretty easy because you could look at a color wheel and you'll know that if you put the red with the blue, your byproduct was going to be purple. You know, it was easier. You know, yellow, blue, you know, you're going to get some green. Now, when you start adding a third color, you never know what that byproduct is going to be. It could be an ugly brown. So colors are tricky. Monochromatic, you know, chromatic. You want to have an opportunity to have a ball be bright enough and colorful enough, but it's got to be, you have to be careful because colors are going to mix. They don't just stay in their own little zone on the bowling ball. So colors are tricky. The other thing is, you know, and I love this is my favorite one I hear constantly. That ball looks just like
we heard it today.
I did, didn't I?
Well, no, we heard it today. It's like, oh, that new
Yeah,
vibe looks like a sunstorm. It's like, well, the
exactly.
sunstorm looks like a poison.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, you can go down the list. It's like
Right, and I
they
hear it
didn't invent yellow.
constantly. Yeah, yeah. The cash was red and orange and black. So every ball we make with orange and black in it, that must be like the cash or the I
Yeah.
mean, go down the list, and it's not. The colors are sometimes. I mean, how many colors are there? Think about it.
How many
You
good
know,
colors are there?
what colors are there? Right. So it's tough to do. I tried to get out of that loop. I let Rich Hansen try to do it because what was going on was I picked colors and Rich would say, well, we got 7 brands, and that's the March ball for Ebonite has
Yeah.
those colors. They're not exactly the same, but
Pick
so
something else.
pick something else, and then I'd be picking for like a week. So now, do they affect performance? They're still, I think personally, the school is still out on that one. Um, the only ball I know that colors do affect is and it's not a color, it's black because it's carbon black that we use in it to make it as black as it is. So, but the other colors are all for the most part we use dye. We don't use pigment as much as we used to. Pigment meaning a powder that was mixed in to make the color. And a dye is simply like you dyed your clothes. You got a white t-shirt, you dyed it blue. Did the blue make the t-shirt different? No, it's similar to that. I don't think there's much difference in performance.
I mean, if you made it purple, it's probably a little softer than after you make the t-shirt.
According to the PBA, it's a lot softer. And
Boy.
if it got older, it got softer.
Yeah, after a few washes.
After a few washes, yeah, the purple shirts got soft. It's just unbelievable. Don't even get me started on that.
I'm trying to get you started. I'm
I
trying
know
to.
you are. I'm not going to get in. I'm not getting sucked in today. I'm going to bowl with my friends tomorrow. I don't want to be aggravated.
I'm just trying to open the choke and pull the cord and see where get Phil running on this one.
No, I'm not doing it.
Almost had him, guys. Almost had him.
Balls do not get softer as they get older. Whatever. They might get oil in the surface. They'll get oil in the surface, and the durometer will read it softer. The ball is not softer.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
So it's like telling me your tires have no traction, and you go on ice. You go, see, there's no traction. But on the pavement, they had traction. So anyway, not important. So
all right, next question.
Go ahead.
How far in advance are bowling balls developed?
So I have balls in the works that are a year and a half out, a year out, simply because it could be a new core, or it could be an existing core with a new cover formula. So depending on how much complexity is involved, I got test balls in yesterday, and they are for. Can't find my sheet. I'll tell you. I think they're for next January, and I got test balls already, first iteration.
Yeah,
but that core has started 3 months ago.
You got another fan outside honking. They want in on the show. Yeah, so that's you're talking 7 months between now and January. That's not. Right. This isn't the first concept. This is the first prototype you got.
That's the first prototype, right? The concept had started back in probably January. So at least a year, when we gave the concept to the core designer, and Steve Freshour is the guy that's doing our cores. He has been doing them for a very long time for us. And Steve has a good grasp on how we get things from ideas to from concept to the product. So, he started working on it, and he has a special program that we're using now that predicts the motion of the core, not the motion on the lane, because the motion on the lane is dictated by, friction, cover stock, etc. But the motion of the core on how the core progresses in the ball, in outer space, for instance, how it would progress. He's got a whole program that does that. And the first ball we did that on was the Outer Limits, and it was fantastic success. So we have more and more concepts being developed that way. The cool thing about that is I can tell him I would like this motion that ball has. I'll name a ball. It could be any company's ball, and Steve can plug that information in. if he gets the information on densities and whatever, and we can even get some of that information ourselves. He plugs that all in, and he can predict ball motion, pretty much match whatever was out there. So we're using that a lot, especially if we like certain motions or want to tweak a motion that we like and make it a little bit better. So it's a year soft.
That helps streamline new cores too, because it gives it takes a lot of the guesswork away.
Sure, it does. You know,
before you even make a core.
Absolutely right. I mean, we did a ball that's coming out in I think it's next I think it's next October. Oh, here it is. I got it right here. Hang on. I'll tell you. It's coming out in October.
Okay.
Okay. And it was one shot. We got it in one shot. The core matched perfectly. The only tweak we did when we tested it was we got 2 different cover stocks put around it. And that ball's done. You know, and that was a one-shotter. Now, the behind-the-scenes work took almost a year. But as far as testing goes, that was our first really good shot. Well, actually, the Outer Limits was the first ball we did like that, and we did it with one take. The only thing we had to do was adjust the surface finish. On the second ball, the one's coming out in October, it was a 1 and out. I mean, got it on the first shot. We had 2 test balls come in with 2 different covers on it.
Seth had thrown it perfect that day, so got all the testing done in one shot.
Seth was the testing animal, and that ball we got it in one shot, one take, done.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You only get one shot, one opportunity.
That's it.
You're gonna grab it. You're gonna let it slip. You have no idea what I'm talking about right now.
I know no idea what you're talking about.
I know a bunch of people in the chat are gonna pick up on that reference.
Yeah, whatever.
But you're not.
You do. I'm not. I don't care.
All right. Next question.
Go ahead.
How often are changes made after the prototype? So this goes back to expound on the last question a little bit. Yeah,
it's here's a lot of interesting scenario. Okay, so we got the core concept, we got the cores, the prototypes are made. You know, we developed the core without buying the molds yet. You know, we're still developing and building our own molds in house. And then all of a sudden R&D says, hey, wait, I got this great cover stock. I have a new cover stock technique that we're using. We have a new formula. We have new additives.
Fresh off the truck.
So here's what happens. The original ball was designed based on what we knew about certain covers. Now the core is available, but we have a better cover, and maybe it doesn't match that core perfectly. But I want to use a new cover because cover is most important.
Sure.
So I want to use the new cover. So I have to go back to the prototype and talk to Steve Freshour and say, hey, Steve, I need a tweak. You know, we got to tweak this core. And he'll work on it for a little bit and do it. So it happens a lot based on cover technology. And we're so advanced on cover technology in the industry, nobody's close to us right now with the HK22. So things that we might have started a year and a half ago, we did not have HK22 as an option. So those cores with HK22 might be different in performance. Again, we're building to hit targets, performance targets, so that we can build an arsenal. The whole company is an arsenal. It's a worldwide arsenal. Whatever we put together, World Wide Web, we put an arsenal together. You can go in our brand and take a low diff ball, medium diff ball, low intermediate, high intermediate, go down the list, and we'll have something for everybody. If you bought one of every ball, you'd have the perfect arsenal, one of every category. So when I take a ball that I want to stick in a certain category and the covers options have changed, I got to go back and fix that core. So we might have to make a change to the core, the prototype, in order to use the new technology of the covers.
So speaking of the covers, especially HK22, Roy wants to know, how long did it take to create that HK22 formula?
I think there were 15 or 16 iterations. Now, along the line, we use them. You know, bear in mind, we did use them. For instance, the Innovator was the one right before HK22. Okay. The Sneak Attack Solid is an iteration. Okay. It's what we had in the works. The base is a little bit different. So we made some changes. So all of those are iterations that are really good. They're just not the end HK22, which we built to be projection, polished, projected balls that flip hard down lane. The industry had been abandoned somewhat of that performance when USBC got involved with some of the companies that had hardness issues and so on. There was some changes in their production, and those shiny flippy balls weren't around. We were looking for it forever. Now we got it, and we're the ones that have the lead right now when it comes to that type of performance. So there are so many iterations that got from point A to point B to where we are today.
Okay.
So it's a lot.
So on the flip side of all this, how often are bowling balls tested and then just flat out scrapped?
It happens a lot. It happens because I've been doing this for a long time, and I watch Seth throw them or Jeff throw them, and I can tell you right away that ball is not going to be good. And most times it's because they may roll forward. The core is too strong for the cover, and I don't need a ball with that strong a cover with that strong a core with a weaker cover, because I have that slot filled, or it's doing very well for us, and we got some good product in that line. So we scrap that a lot. A lot of times we'll get 2 or 3 different cores sent to us because I might be targeting a certain. We don't do it as much now as we did in the past, but I might be targeting a number. I want something with a 2.48, 051, 020 numbers, and I'll get a core for that design because I'm trying to build it into a target. And then those balls sometimes they just don't roll good after drilling. So we have a lot more behind the scenes than people think we do, especially when it comes to after drilling numbers. You have a great looking core, and then you put holes in it, and the numbers are like ridiculous.
You have to model that. Yeah, sure. You have to do all that.
Absolutely. I mean, we had a ball one time that the intermediate diff blew up so bad that the ball rolled forward instantly.
Yeah.
But when you looked at the design and the pre-drilled numbers, they were fine. So that gets scrapped.
Yeah, my favorite was the ball with like almost 030 intermediate, and the total differential was only in the 040s.
That's right.
I was like, oh boy, I wonder what this.
You remember that? That was terrible.
I remember that. That wasn't great.
No, that was not great. So
let's leave it at that. It wasn't great.
Wasn't great. Exactly right.
Next.
Yeah.
In your opinion, in your professional, long, historic opinion, what's the ideal amount of bowl launches per year for your brand? What would be ideal?
I think 9, and I'll tell you why. I think you got 3 performance points, and then you got new cores. So we try to rotate at least 1 new core design a year. And you might have 2 versions of that. Plus, you have the price points that are selling already, and you might have another version of that cover stock. So 9 is probably the right amount if you break it down. And I don't have the math in front of me. I don't know how many days that is.
Math is hard. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's about every 40, 45 days. Now they're not conflicting balls. I don't have a Katana Assault and another Katana coming out in 45 days. I have a Katana Assault that I might have a Sneak Attack, or might have a Rattler, or an Outer Limits.
Yeah,
and they're all different. Staggered. Yeah.
And the last question I have on here before we get into all the chat questions. Yeah. So how do you choose surfaces during the process? Like, how do you choose if you're going to go hybrid, solid, pearls, with surface, with compound? Tell us how you kind of get to that.
So again, we have a target, a performance target, and that's the key. A performance target is the key. I want a ball to do this at this point from the break point to the pocket. So you break it in components, off the hand to the break point, from the break point to the pocket. And then I adjust. So once I have the basis right, whether it's the right cover and core combination that I'm looking for, okay, then I have to look at the masses of people and who's going to buy them. I don't use pros to test my bowling balls. I have never done that. When I was at Columbia, we did it, and I got out of that right away, because that pro is looking for a ball that's going to make money for him. He's not
Yeah.
thinking of how many I'm going to sell. He's thinking of how he's going to win the U.S. Open. And I'm looking at the guy that buys bowling balls, my customer, who pays good money for that ball. He needs to have a ball that he can use, and I let the pros figure out, if they're pros, how to bowl with it. That's not my problem. My problem is the customer. You know, the guy.
I think that was a little evil little diss on Seth. You're just basically telling him he's never going to be a pro. That's why he's such a good tester. You hear that, Seth?
You know what? That if that's all Seth ever gets from me for a year, it's a bonus. Because there's no one that I abuse more than Seth. I just have so much fun with him. I love Seth to death.
You hear
And he
that, Seth?
knows
He's
that.
going to make you a bonus special and give it to you.
That's it. So,
Nice.
so we don't use the pros for that reason. You know, I want a guy that's going to tell me that the ball is good. You know, Seth has balls he really likes. He was Lord of the Zings. He was Set Squatch.
Sasquatch.
Set Squatch. So, but Seth is honest. You know, he likes the way the ball rolls, or he doesn't like it. He can use it in a certain pattern. You know, I always look at the average guy has to throw that ball because he's the one buying it. You know, so we try to build balls for the average league guy to take advantage of it and improve his experience. So,
And speaking of testing, I know you don't
Mhm.
send them to pros, but Justin wants to know: are sending bowling balls to certain brick and mortar PSOs still a thing? Pro shop operators.
I don't like to do that for a couple of reasons. One is it's a test ball. Now, it's not a seed ball. You're talking about a test ball. No
Test ball.
label on it. The guy's throwing it. And what if I don't make it and that ball looks bad? So now I got a ball out there that looks bad, and he goes, "Oh, that's the next radical ball." No, it's not. So I don't do that anymore. We used to do that years and years and years ago, and that's the problem I ran into. You know, the guy threw it. You know, he might have thrown it on a hooking condition. The ball was supposed to be for heavier oil, but it's a test ball. We're testing it. So I'll do my own testing, and then if we want to seed it out to get some opinions after the fact, then we do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Jed wants to know: does Brunswick have any say in what you develop, like final approval type stuff?
No, final approval is me. You know, what they have an opinion on is what they can build, and also what's being built from other brands that I don't know about.
Yeah.
You know, I can't.
They'll help guide you with, you know,
Yeah,
color wise.
You know,
or
we got 17 high end balls coming out in April. That, you know, we try to avoid that from happening. You know, so I'll move mine to May or June, stuff
There
like
you go.
that. But as far as targets, I pick the targets. I've always done that. I pick the targets.
Yeah.
You know?
He also gets final approval from Brunsnick. And I say, nah, you don't want to do that. It's a terrible
that's
idea.
right
Why
there.
would you do that?
That's what I do. Yeah.
And on the flip side of that coin, what was the best ball name you ever came up with?
You know, it's funny that you say that. The ball name is great, but what do you equate that to? How many balls it sold, right?
Well, that's all the question is. Best
I
ball
know,
name.
but I'm saying the best ball name that I ever came up with.
Better not say
you know-
Grease Monkey.
No. You go back. You're talking about Radical or the beginning of time for me? Probably
Ever.
The Heat was probably one of the best names that we've ever had. The Guru was a great name.
Guru, yeah.
Yeah, Guru was a great name.
Critical Mass.
Critical Mass was fantastic because that was a ceramic core ball, which is sort of the mass in the center of the ball. That was a great name I came up with.
Mhm.
Critical Mass. You know, Code Red was another good name.
I don't know. From what
Yeah.
you guys remember from track in the early 90s, you know, Phil's era, you know, throughout. When was the last time with track? How long through? Once it was sold, or how long did you stay through?
I was with track until 2001.
2000. Okay, so
Yeah,
got
yeah,
it. So
yeah.
a lot of people are saying Nuke. Nuke is their favorite.
Well, Luke was it was my name too. Yeah, it was a great name.
Well, yeah,
You
you were
know.
the only guy in the building, probably sitting
That
in
was
that
the only
same
one.
chair.
Nobody argue with me. Yeah, exactly. Well, his office was across the street.
You got to get 5,000 steps in.
That happened to me last week. Somebody stole my phone.
Oh, geez, yeah. Lance wants to know, Mo loved additives. Any chance we get HK22 with additives? That's
I've
actually,
been doing it all along. I've been doing
yeah.
it
So
already. Yeah,
HK22 is actually the base resin. So all the additives are still added after the fact.
that's right. I've been doing that way long
Yeah.
time.
So that's,
Yeah, with all of the cover stocks from way back when we first started with Brunswick. I started doing additives to the cover stocks.
all
Yeah.
right. John wants to know, the lower price attack lines always seem to be one color. Is it more expensive to pour multicolored balls?
No, it's not more expensive. It's just that, well, I mean, you got to realize that a lot of times you start putting colors at certain price points that maybe are going to be in a line for a long time, but they want to be tried and true. The original Sneak Attack was a pearl hybrid, and now the new one is a purple. I think it's purple black.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
got to also think, like, for the purists, for experienced
Absolutely.
players that are going to be using these balls for,
Yeah.
playing specific patterns, or, they're going to want to see
Right.
just a dark ball roll down the lane,
Yeah. Yeah.
or a
Yeah.
single color is just easier to read.
And there's many places where we use multicolor. So we don't. It's not to say I won't ever make a multicolored lower price ball. It's just that we spend more time on making it a value added product. So it's not more expensive.
Yeah. Old school is still shelf appeal.
Absolutely.
With all the bright color balls, sometimes having a more traditional looking ball is always nice.
Yeah. And plus, I like solid balls. So remember that.
That's why you make
remember that. And I like the low end balls, and I like them to be solid. So
Yoda is in the chat. So why did we never? Well, I mean, why are you asking the question, Yoda? You should already know the answer, But why do we never get a results hybrid?
Hybrid results we don't have.
He's asking results hybrid. Why never we have?
Why never we have? The problem we had with the results is the cover stocks, as they got stronger, didn't make that. But here the
garbage man's back.
It's back. It's for the other one.
He was running
Here
late.
He is. Hi. The cover stocks on that ball as they got stronger, made that ball roll forward more. So we require some tweaking to the core to get that to not roll forward with the stronger covers. That's a simple reason. The maximum results we had to tweak that core a lot to get it down to where it was usable. To go back to the original results, I think you're looking at a really weaker core to make it work.
All right. Rob wants to know, how much does 3D printing come into play when creating molds?
I think they do that a lot. I'm sure they do. I know Steve Freshour has his own programs that he uses.
I think he's actually talking about like the machines that actually print 3D.
What do they call it? CNC?
No,
CNC machine?
No, 3D printer.
Oh, no. We don't use that. We don't use them. We just use a graphic, that we can spin the core and look at it from all angles.
All modeled.
Yeah.
So Jonathan wants to know, he has a big question here. How are core shapes designed? Some cores out there in general look like characters of something. Is it hard to put the densities in certain place to give the shape that you're looking for or want?
So you picture a little box, whatever size, 6 inches by 5 inches, and you're going to put a core inside that box. And then you're going to have it so that when you drill it, mass comes out of certain spots of the ball to make ball motion. So we can predict all of that with the CAD that we use or whatever program they're using right now. They all have different names. So the shape, we know that certain shapes do certain things on the lane. Big belly cores roll a certain way. Tall, thin cores roll a certain way. Short, fat cores roll a certain way. So what we have to do is we start to predict ball motion. And then at that point, we decide how much of this box is going to be filled with core. And that's where the densities come in. How heavy does it have to be to get the RG you want and the differentials you want? So, I like characters. I didn't think about maybe having a Mickey Mouse character core or something, or I don't know. But I think it has more to do with the
think
target numbers, the performance we're looking for, and fitting it in that core box.
The lawyers are already on our case. They're already
Yeah,
the Disney lawyers are already.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll take a couple more, then we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah, okay.
Justin, any evidence on whether HK22 maintains reaction longer over time compared to non-HK22?
The HK22, like I said earlier, was designed for length and flip. We don't have any evidence right now. We are not hearing anything about the ball dying, and the ball's been out a while. I mean, HK22 has been out for a while.
Yeah.
So we would have heard if there was any
glaring issues.
Yeah, issues with performance, durability, or anything like that. We don't have any of those problems.
Yeah, longevity has never been an issue with the Brunswick brands.
No,
ever in its history, as long as I've been here.
Yeah, exactly.
The performance always is there. Now we got the skid flip performance with shiny bowling balls.
Yep, and that's fantastic. Right now, we have a lot of fun.
Yep. All right, let's see. Gosh, a lot of long questions here.
But you can put them up. We don't get charged by the word, Nick.
I know, but it's real estate.
Oh, I see.
BC Quan, do you try to build bowling balls primarily for league bowlers, or that can do well on league shots and sports shots?
What we try to target is what most people bowl on. They bowl on house shots. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that the product that we build can't be used on sport shots, but you got to realize the forgiveness on the sport shot is not there. So we want balls that are forgiving on house shots. The sport shot does not allow the forgiveness, and bowling balls don't create forgiveness on sport shots either, by the way. It's a front to back situation. It's how the ball comes off the spot. And that sometimes you can tweak with drilling. But primarily, we want the guys bowling league and bowling house tournaments and local tournaments to enjoy themselves and strike more. So we're going to create product that allows them to open up the lane and create more angle. And, Nick and I do a really good job with Throwbot to show you guys entry angle and impact angle to show where the ball is when it comes off the spot and where it is when it exits the pin deck. And those are the things you need to look for. It's irrelevant whether that's on a sport shot or a house shot. The continuation through the pins is what you have to look for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what benefits house bowlers who don't have a 550 rev rate.
It's true.
Yeah.
All right. Lynn wants to know, do you know when you release a new ball, if you're going to offer in alternate covers, like hybrid pearl solid, or is it sometimes the reaction is not what you expected, so now it's in a pearl or hybrid?
So we have a pretty good feel going in if that's going to work in another cover. And a lot of times it's not simply a pearl cover or a solid cover or a hybrid cover. Most of our covers have an additive in it. We'll take the base HK22 and I'll put something in it. And the reason is because that's tweaking that cover to that core. And it'll have a range. If you can imagine a range being, if that's the chart, the range is here, I could probably move it to here or to here with additives. But I can't take that same ball and just say, I'm going to make it a pearl and say it's going to be a great ball. It's not like the old days you had a real simple core in it and all you did was created more length. Because sometimes when you do that, you create a different hook window. If I put a solid cover around a certain ball, it may hook at your toes and burn up down lane. One of the balls I'm surprised about the most right now is the Sneak Attack Solid. It's a lot more ball than I thought it was going to be. Even though we tested it, it just seems that it's a better version than what I had expected it to be. That's a great value.
Okay. Jim wants to know, any thought about doing a camo color pattern bowling ball?
So what would that be? Like tan with dots and arrows on it? Because that would be the only camo in bowling that you wouldn't see.
Green, black. I don't know.
That's camo for the forest.
Yeah.
If you bowled in a forest, you could throw that ball because you wouldn't see it.
Just do the camo line then. White. You can do a white camo, a green camo, a tan.
No, just do a camo ball would have arrows and lines and boards on it. So when you throw it, you wouldn't see it.
Someone says Snack Attack's gaining some traction. We need the Snack Attack BLT. Hold the mayo on that BLT.
Make me
for me.
Hungry. We have to go to the lanes and have something to eat earlier.
It's going to be Snack Attack after one more or two more questions here.
Exactly. Ready. We're having fun
So-
with this one, aren't we?
Yeah, we
Anybody
are.
Is anybody watching?
Yeah, we got 90 people still. They're,
Oh my
they're hanging
God.
on.
What are they doing? Go get a job.
They are at their jobs. That's the great part about it.
You wonder how a bowling you wonder how a bowling pin ball core would. I have no idea.
Well, it's going to
It's-
be tall and skinny, so it's going to be a
Yeah,
hierarchy,
but it's also
lower
gonna be
diff.
fat. It's gonna be fat below the center of the core.
So
So they got to raise the core to get the center to match up, and it might be sticking out the top of the ball.
it's going to have bottom weight.
Well, you can't. Well, you can. But
You're going to have to put a flip block or something on top to
Yeah.
offset that. Or you can make the head of the pin the dual density. You can make that a heavier density. So
you know what,
can,
Nick? You should just stick to what you're good at. It's not designing cores. So just stay out of that one. Stay in your own lane.
Who in the chat wants me to kick Phil off the show right now? I'll finish this up. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, you got this.
Raise your hands.
Raise
If
your
you guys want me to boot
Raise
Phil
your
from the show.
your what is that? Social media hand.
Yep. Yep. People are saying they just got off work. They're retired. Shane's a teacher. They're on summer break. Why don't you stop telling people what to do? They want to watch our show, so be it. All right, we got some love for Phil. Don't boot
See?
Phil.
See?
Oh wait,
There
hold
you
on.
go.
We got some hands raised.
There you go. Oh,
We got
boy,
hands
look at
raised.
that. Yeah.
2
You're only
versus
picking
1.
You're only picking those out, aren't you? Anyway.
No, it's 2 versus 1 right now.
Yeah. All right.
The-
Well,
the
those guys
mob-
are banned.
The mob has spoken.
I'm going to send the internet police to their house.
All right.
Okay,
Last
one more.
question, and we're gonna wrap it up.
Make
And
it
I
a good
saved
one.
for last. There are other questions in there, and Phil will try to get to them if he can.
I will.
But-
I will. May not be this week.
Freddie wants to know, where do you see the Radical and the Brands of Brunswick 5 or 10 years from now?
Right now, we're on an accelerated pace that I'm not sure if it continues, we can keep up with it. It's that dominant. Some of the other companies' performances have slipped. People are realizing that, and they're starting to flock more and more to the technical companies, not the Me Too's. So, you know, we're constantly doing things like HK22. We do core designs. I got a new core design came in today. Targeting certain performance. We know that the market, the environment's changing. You know, we don't build balls. We build balls to match the environment. Okay. The environment doesn't change for our bowling balls. You know, people say, well, we put more oil on the lane because the bowling balls are too strong. Well, you know what? What if you didn't put any oil on the lanes? What would your customers be throwing? They'd be throwing polyester balls. So you control what people use.
Maybe playing golf.
They'd be playing golf. So you have to realize that we are ahead of the curve in science, physics, chemistry, way ahead right now. And we have the most tools. We are the biggest bowling ball company on the planet.
In the world.
Identical.
The world.
So you got to realize that. And because of that, we have all of the tools we need to maintain that. The problem is we don't want to get too big where we can't do it well.
Mhm.
So we're smart guys. Trust me. We are smart guys. We know where we need to be. We know how to get there. And it's a slow and steady race. This is not a sprint. So, you know, each ball is getting better. Each product is getting better. We have greater technologies. 10 years from now, we may be the only company in business. I don't know. So
Bold statement.
bold statement. I don't know. I'm just saying it could be. You know, we could force everybody's hand.
Never know. All right.
You never know. You never
That
know.
was a great show. We appreciate
was.
everybody tuning in to
Nick and
episode
I will be
13.
bowling doubles on Thursday at 2:00. Nick Reno time. Nick and I will be bowling doubles. Maybe Nick could live stream it.
I mean, I won't even be in the building. So how am I going to do that?
Nick better be in the building if Nick wants to stay on this show.
Hey, here's the
Nick
bottom
has to
line.
be in the building.
I have
There is no
I have
bottom.
one
That was the bottom line.
day. I have one day in Reno where I don't have any bowling, and that's the day that I'm gonna go around town, go take in the sights, maybe
at
go to
2 o'clock.
Tahoe.
At 2:00. That's not true. So anyway,
We bowl
So you
Friday
really-
and Saturday.
you're not going to bowl with me.
I don't think I am.
You're really not. So I'm by
I don't-
myself.
You're
All
not by
right.
yourself.
That's
You
it.
can find
I'm by
someone else.
myself.
We're bowling. Why don't you ask someone else in the group?
They're all matched up.
In the same squad?
Yeah, we're all bowling together, same time.
Maybe you could put your name on the sub board.
All right. You heard it, folks. Now you know.
Uh,
Now you know.
I don't like bowling the Bowler's Journal. I've bowled one squat in my life.
Okay. Maybe you do the ball good. 2 o'clock on Thursday.
All right, I'll put it in my calendar.
Good.
Things to avoid in Reno.
Well, you know what? We'll be done at 3:30. Go out then. Go to Tahoe at 3:30.
All right. We'll revisit this. All right, everybody.
All right. Hey, I enjoyed it. We had a good time today. Thank you, Nick. I
Great
don't know why. but
show,
thank you,
Phil.
Nick, for
Very
doing whatever you do.
informative. Or
It
what
was,
did Lynn say? Always entertaining, sometimes informative. That could
Sometimes.
be our motto for our show, our new tagline.
That's a new tag. I like that one. All right. We'll
Oh.
see you guys next week on Wednesday.
Wednesday at our normal time. Yep.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
All right, everybody.
All right. We'll
Talk to
see
you
you
soon.
guys.
Bye.